We just gonna smile and setting up our meeting for Facebook Live. Hey, it's Friday. Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. And I believe we are live. Let me just make sure, Mike, that we are all good to go on all platforms. Let's see. I'm gonna get this together. If not, we're gonna get somebody to help me get it together. All right. Hey, Houston, we are in the room. Come on in the room, Houston. We are live, yes. Happy Friday, people. Happy Friday.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Hey. We are getting ready to go in. Hope you're feeling good. Feeling good in the hood. I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Happy Friday. Let me make sure we're live on all platforms. Mike, I'm gonna go ahead and tag you as well.
All right.
And then we will get this party started. Yes. Technology, gotta love it. Come on, sing, Diana. Hey, it's Friday and we're coming out. We're coming out of the cave, will you? Happy Friday. It's Freedom Friday. Freedom Friday. Loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. Loving it. All right. Let me hear that one more time. I got to come out one more time. Sing, Diana. Hey, hey, hey. Sing. Yes. Yes. All right. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. As always, I do not own the rights to that music, but we are coming out of the cave. You know, Facebook be trying to shut you down. We got to make that plain. We do not own the rights to that music, but we'll jam to it all day. All day long, we'll jam to it. Happy Friday. This is Freedom Friday with your girl, Stephanie Ray Songbird, with the Songbird in me. Once again, I'm super excited about what we are doing to help support individuals and families who are impacted by trauma. We are here. We are in the community to help restore, heal, and build healthy relationships. We want you to come out, and that's what we're talking about today. Having the conversations, having those talks, talking about what has us wounded, talking about what has us bound. And of course, y'all always know I'm getting ready to put this plug in. If you have not registered for Come Out of the Cave, Healing the Wounds, you still have time to do so. This is a completely free event. Free. It's free. It's free, right? Some things that are free are good. This is good and this is free. You have time to register. Eventbrite is where you can go to register. I have posted the link. I'll continue to post more throughout this week. Like, tag, and share. Who do you know that needs to come out the cave? Who do you know that is needing to deal with wounds and things that might have them bound? It may be you. Go ahead and register. We want to see your face in the place. We are coming out of the cave, will you? And with that, I'm super excited about our special guest on this Friday, Freedom Friday. I'm so happy to have my brother, my blood brother. Like, this is my blood brother. Like, we grew up in the house together fighting like cats, chickens, and dogs. That's my brother, right? I want to introduce to you L. Michael Scott, and we of course call him Michael, but he goes by so many names, who is an educator. He's an entrepreneur and he's a youth advocate. He hails, of course, from Garland, Texas, but he's a Houstonian at this point. You've been here, right? Over 20 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, you've been here for a minute. You beat me here, so yes. So he is a Houstonian now, and he's worked and mentored youth in the Houston area for over 20 years. And so all the communities he served in, Fifth Ward community, he's worked closely with, it's called UEI, but Urban Enrichment Institute. He used to work very close with them. And that nonprofit, I remember, they were there to empower. It's their mission to empower boys to become responsible young men. He also has a couple of his own ventures under his belt. He is the founder of Basic Studios in Houston, and the company's purpose is to lay a solid foundation for the youth to develop holistically through the power of music and become lifetime learners. He also serves as one of the directors of the board for the Family Artistry Academy, y'all. And this is such a blessing. They provide at-risk youth with affordable lessons in fine arts. So this gives them, of course, more educational opportunities, more exposures, and more opportunities to learn. And I always like to say it gives them, the youth, a way to release in a positive manner. There is so much power in music and in the creative arts piece. And that's definitely one of the things that we see working with the Songbird and me. The youth get in there, they begin to create, and they turn those things that they may be dealing with from a negative to a positive. So Michael, welcome, 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 brother, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling
Good.
pretty good.
Good. And I'm still plugging. Michael will be one of our speakers at our Come Out of the Cave Healing the Wounds event not this Saturday, next Saturday, November 12th at 11 a.m. And we are super excited. Super excited.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we're super excited for the nuggets that he's going to drop and the freedom that's going to come. So just that you're on here today, just a few questions. Again, last week we had Mr. Pope on with the Pope Law Firm. And usually when we do these little segments, I always say we have our female speakers, they come and represent, but I need the men to stand up. We need the men to represent, right? Because the only way we're going to heal our families is if our men also get healed for our young babies. And so again, Michael is here. He's representing for the men. So woo, 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 come on. Yes, healing is needed. Men, healing is also needed. So working as a mentor for young men, what is a common wound that you see? Because I know you worked with kids that are school age, but you also work with men that are young adults and even older men. But what is a common wound that you see often?
Yes, so the most common wound I see in how it manifests is a lot of anger with a lot of young men, right? They tend to hold that anger in because of something that's missing, right? Whether it be the absence of a father, that's a really huge wound for a lot of my young men that I've worked with. And that of course trickles over into adulthood. Now, in my current role at HCC, Houston Community College, I'm working with adults more so, but those young people, 18 to 24, I mean, we call it adult adolescence, right? And that's a thing, like
yes.
You're still developing. 18 might mean you're of age, but it doesn't mean you're an adult. It doesn't mean you're grown for sure, right?
Yes.
You're not grown, you talk to one of my colleagues and say, you out of my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Take care of your own bills. But even paying all your own bills doesn't mean you got it all together. And so that absence of the father is a big, big wound, and it can cause a lot of different gaps to be present in a man's life or a woman's life as well. And that's a big, big one. And then sometimes, we see a lot of, you see from time to time abuse, verbal abuse or emotional abuse that has caused some trauma and make people put a wall up or, things of that nature. And that could happen in the home, in a domestic situation, right? That affects everything that they do, from education to relationships with their peers, yes, or significant others, to even getting a job and things of that nature in life. So those are the biggest ones I've seen.
Gotcha. Definitely the anger thing is something that I see a lot. I work with the youth now in the school systems. This is a new role for me. And seeing that age group from the 6th grade to the 12th grade and assessing them. You mentioned something, and I kind of want to pick your brain because I was going to go to another question, but since you mentioned the anger, I have a young man that's dealing with anger, and his anger is towards women, right? He has, like, when I walk in the room, when I first met him, I could feel, he's a young Black boy, so I could feel his fist go like this. I could feel the arms begin to cross, and I was like, what is going on? And I'm just like, hi, how are you doing? My voice is soft. I got all of this weight on the floor to meet him at his level, and I was trying to make him laugh. I said, hey, don't laugh at me if I fall on this floor. And he was just like, just sitting there with,
Totally.
like rocks in his jaws. And
Mm.
so come to find out, that was my first meeting with him, but come to find out he lives in a home where he does not have a male figure or a male role model. And
Mhm.
so he does have trauma, of course. That's why I'm assessing him. But I also found out that the woman that's raising him, she's verbally talking to him, right? And so when you said anger, especially dealing with our young men, there may be some mothers that are watching. You may have some aunts that are watching, or even y'all women that are caregiving, for other young Black and brown babies. I'm gonna say it like this. What would you give as advice, since you're a man yourself and you've seen this in other young men that you've mentored? What advice can you give us as women to deal with the anger that our young men may express? How do we deal with that in a positive way that's not belittling or
Mm.
adding to their aggression?
And I think you said a very key word just now. You said belittling, right? And I've seen this before, some moms, you have that stereotype of the strong Black woman, right? The strong single mom, right? And that stereotype does exist, right? But I mean, you don't need to belittle a man to teach him a lesson. You don't need to make him feel less than for him to become more than, greater than, right? And that is something that I've seen, unfortunately, in several circumstances. I'm going to kind of share a nugget with you that I learned some years ago about the motivation of men. There's three major motivations that a guy has. One is purpose. That's a big motivation, right? Knowing who he is and what he does. So the absence of a father a lot of times takes away from knowing what that purpose is, right? Because a father affirms, a father validates, a father guides in a different way than a mother does, Not saying a mother doesn't do those things, right? But it looks different, it feels different. My son is 12 years old. He'll be 13 in the springtime. And I'm like, wow, I'm about to have a teenager on my hands, right?
Yep.
But but that's my niche though, right? Because I taught middle school and people say, oh, God bless you. I loved middle school. That is where I thrived. But anyway, not to get too sidetracked, but that purpose is very important. They need to know who they are, right? Have their origin together, to know where you come from, where you're going, and who you are is super important. Number two, respect and admiration. And that's where the
Yes.
belittling part comes, right? A man breathes respect like a woman breathes love. That doesn't mean a man doesn't need love, and it doesn't mean a woman doesn't need respect, but their primary communication or their love language, I don't know if love language is the right term, but the way that they interact and see things is through respect, a lens of respect for men and a lens of love for women. And so if you belittle that young man, he's going to resent you. Men are pretty simple in general, generally speaking, right? Feed us, talk good about us, have fun, and we're gonna be fine, right?
Right.
So, but when you bring that to the picture, that'll cause a young man to shut down and withdraw, or it's going to cause him to fight you or disrespect
Yes.
you or act out. And women tend to talk out their emotions, men tend to act out their
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. And so eventually that young man with all those hormones is gonna rise up, and the man he is
Yes.
designed to dominate and to take dominion, not in a negative way, is
Yeah.
going to eventually act out. And
Yeah.
then third, this is important, peace of heart is a very huge motivation for men. Knowing that everything is well, right? Coming home and you got your man cave, we call it, right? Or you have your fortress or your castle, right? This is your place and
Yeah.
things are at peace. So if he goes home and his mom is belittling him, he no longer has peace.
Peace. Right. Right.
And now, where do I go? I have no safe place, right? Yes, the man is designed to protect the woman, right? But the rib cage protects the heart just as well, right?
Right.
And so you need to be able to protect that man's heart, whether he's
Yes.
12 years old or 20 years old or 30 or 50 years old, right? It doesn't matter. So a man who has become vulnerable towards a woman, whether she's a mother figure or a romantic interest or a wife rather, excuse me, or a friend, that person has to be able to protect his heart. And that means not belittling him, because life is already hard enough as it is, especially for
Yes.
a Black man in this country, without having a woman who's supposed to be his support being another person pulling down on him.
Yes, I like what you said. I mean, you dropped so many nuggets here. We're talking about coming out of the cave, healing the wounds, and of course, you being, a mentor for young men. But what you just said, you said, be that real, protect that heart, right? Ladies, that's a whole nugget for a whole nother conversation. But as
Mhm.
far as
Yeah.
dealing with our sons, dealing with our nephews, dealing with our brothers, right? Dealing with the men who are in our life, right? to be, I've heard that before, to be their peace. And no, I'm not saying just like from spouse to spouse, right? But we're raising young men, right? So to be their safe place. And I'm familiar, I always talk about being that safe place. If it's a difference between providing safety and felt safety, right? You may provide your child, you know, with a roof over their head. You may provide them with 3 squares a day. You might provide them with clothes. That's your job, right? That's what we should do as their parents or as their caregivers. But they also need to feel safe. If they don't feel safe, then that's where you get the shutdown, or that's where you get the behavior or sometimes aggression. And our motto here at the Songbird and me is we are breaking cycles. And so we want to break cycles. We want to break those cycles that maybe where we came from, where nobody communicated, or we were belittled or belittling, even if we did it, you know, unintentionally. A lot of things that we've done is not intentional, but it still has an impact, right? And so I'm so glad that you said that. So first of all, identity is important. Then I heard you say affirmation is important, and then peace of heart, peace of mind. Those are nuggets right there that we can take, you know, with us individually, but especially when we're talking about dealing with our young men and our men in general that are dealing with wounds. Just being observant. A lot of times mentorship is more of observing than talking, you know. It's just observing and being that safe place so they can open up to you, right? So they can share what is going on. So good stuff. I got a whole nother thought process going in my head. It's a subject for another day, and hopefully you could come back and expound on that real covering the heart, because I think that would be an amazing topic to discuss. Before we get off, I just want to, since we grew up together, just want to talk a minute before we get off, just the things that we have learned from our wounds. What is one thing you have learned from your wounds or a wound? And how have you healed from that? And can you share that with someone that may be trying to identify what's going on with them, figure out who they are, you know, why things are happening or why they can't let go. Sometimes we just need that support. We know there's something going on, but we don't quite know what to do to begin the healing process.
Got you. So on a personal level, you know, from my values and my belief system, you know, I have faith in the healer, you know, our creator, our sustainer. And I've learned that God really does look out. He's so specific and intentional with everything that he does in our lives. And sometimes we don't always understand everything that happens to us, but I do understand that it can be used to help us to grow, right? To build. And the first thing I'll drop is that I learned about pails. And you know, I've talked about this.
Yes.
I'm not gonna stop. That's one of the things.
Y'all better take notes. This is free. Take notes. This is free.
Pail is like a bucket, like a PAIL, right? Purpose, acceptance, identity, love, and security. Nobody else but my creator and my sustainer can give me those things. No one else. I can't look for that. Now, that doesn't mean my wife can't love me, or my girlfriend can't love me, or my sister can't love me, because she does very well. But the point is that she's not the source of that. Does that make sense? And anytime I try to put some burden on somebody that is not theirs to carry, it's not going to work. Okay. And so I learned to draw not just on myself and look inside. No. I had to draw on the source of my person, the person who created me, right? And then from there, I was able to heal, and I was able to reach out to those people in my circle. And I had a counselor of many, right? And that's another important thing to help me heal. I did draw on the people who were for me in my circle. And there's a circle that I had that was bigger than I thought. So I had 15, 20 people that I could call on. So if one of them was busy, well, I had 19 more to go, right? So everybody ain't gonna be busy at the same time, but I can't just draw on 1 or 2 people, because sometimes life might kick in for them, right? They might be going through some things, or they might not have time. And so you make sure you have a multitude of counselors to help you to talk through things and everything like that. And then understanding, the last thing I say is just understanding how patient I've had to be with myself, and having the appropriate self-talk. Like, you know, you are, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and say I am enough. I'm not enough, right? But I know somebody who is enough, and he's my source. And so that makes me, I have the ability to be enough, right? But even in the process, learning to talk to myself positively, learning to look at myself in the mirror and say like, yo, you're doing well, you're doing great, you are, a decent human being, you're an honorable man, right? You are doing things the right way, you are trying your best and continuing to seek to do the best you can, right? And growing, committing to grow. Those things always, knowing who I am, pulling on that sword, making sure my bucket is filled, getting that multitude of counsels, and always talking to yourself positively and continuing to grow. Those are the biggest ways I would say encourage somebody to heal from their wounds.
Love it. I hear you. Yes. That PALS acronym, I'm gonna repeat it. PALS, P purpose, A acceptance, I for identity, L for love, and S for security. These are things that you cannot get or expect someone else to give you. Is that what we're saying? You have to find that within yourself. And also accountability. I heard you say, there is wisdom amongst counselors. And sometimes you may have to have more than one. I remember telling a young lady that I was mentoring, you need that person that's going to tell you the truth. You need that person that's going to laugh at you. You need that person that you can cry with. You need that person, we got to get a little ratchet. I just need to go outside and go out real quick. And then I need to call the other person so I can get my life right back together, right? You need a diverse set of counselors, those that have pure heart, those that will not kill your spirit, but they're going to hold you accountable so you can heal. I have a saying that says, I love you, but I love the God in you more, meaning that I'm going to look past what's going on with you right now, because trauma is real and you may be manifesting a certain way, but I always say you're not your trauma. I'm going to look for the core in you, who you are. And that's hopefully what I can bring to you as a safe person or as a wise counsel to help you heal and help you grow. So, brother, you have said a mouthful on today, and we so appreciate you dropping words of wisdom, hoping those that are watching now and will catch the replay, this is something that you can take with you and use it. Use it when you're interacting day to day. Use it for yourself, facing the person in the mirror. That is the hardest thing. We said that on last week. It's hard to look at yourself in the mirror, but Michael just said it. You got to give yourself some grace, right? Things do happen. So yeah, we got to give ourselves some room and some grace. And there's a question, and I was trying to do both. Y'all forgive me. I'm going to get this together. But there is a question in the chat or the Facebook. Justin's asking, are we able to be all of those things in one person?
Be all of what things in one person?
I'm assuming he's talking about the PALS.
Are we able to be all of those things in one
all
person?
of that? Maybe let me read it again. I think, Justin, if you're on, can you re-clarify that question? It says, are we able to be all of those things in one person? And we were talking about the PALS. So
okay.
That's my thoughts. That's where that's coming from.
That's what he's referring to. I mean, so to be quite clear, my source is Jesus, right? He's my source, right? He's the one that I pray to, and he gives me grace and teaches me how to give grace to other people. He loves me and teaches me how to love other people in the same way, right? So he has all those things in one. Can a person be all those things to you? No. I can't be somebody's purpose. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, if I cease to exist, then their purpose ceases to exist. And that's just not the case, right? There's something that you are called to do. And I had this conversation with our play brother, my brother Dan, about this, and how like somebody saying, can my wife be my purpose, or can marriage be my purpose? Like, nah, because then that means for you to exist, you have to have another person who's willing to submit their will and agree with that. And if they don't, and they have a free will and choice, that means your purpose doesn't exist. So that doesn't make any sense. And so you cannot be all those things to somebody, but I can support somebody in their purpose. I can accept somebody and love on them and help them know that they are, honorable and they're worthy and they're those kind of things, right? But at the end of the day, people cannot, because we're all imperfect, we're all fickle and things happen, right? So I got to put my trust and my faith in all those things in somebody who is never going to change.
Yeah.
God never changes.
Gotcha.
I hope that answers the question. I hope that's what he's referring to.
Definitely. We may need to have a part 2. I know definitely. Hold on. Oh, look, just to say no, I was talking about, let me see what he's saying. Oh, okay. He is saying he was talking about me, and I was talking, he's saying being able to call someone out and build them up, etc.? Are we able to be all of those things in one person?
I say yes on that one though.
Okay.
And so I have some friends like, because just like there's an inner circle, outer circle, right? I have some friends who are like that inner 3, 4, 5 people that I know we talk about anything. And I say anything, I mean anything, right? We can snot, we can cry, we can curse, we can laugh, we can do all those things, get out the emotions, let it, there's no judgment, there's no fear, right? But those same people can turn around and give me wisdom, build me up, say, nah, bro, you wrong right there.
Right.
You can definitely have somebody who is all those things in one. And me personally, I also learned that it's always good to have at least 3 people in that circle, right? One who's walking ahead of you, like a mentor, it could be a father, uncle,
Yeah.
big brother, whatever. Somebody's walking beside you. And that could be that person that could be all those things in one. And then somebody you bring it up behind you, right? Because you have perspective you can share. But sometimes you can get perspective from a younger person that you'd have never got if you weren't listening to them. Because sometimes out of the mouths of babes, man, you get some
Yeah,
nuggets.
some good stuff. Some good stuff.
Flesh and blood just want to get that to you. Anyway, go ahead.
I want to share this because you just said that, and also picking back on what Justin was asking. I look at integrity for me. If I'm going to walk beside someone, that I'm consistent, because consistency to me brings about change. So whenever I'm walking with someone, whether I'm mentoring them or just being me, who I am, for us to be able to do that, it still goes back to the pales. This is who I am. This is what you get. I accept me, so something that you're dealing with doesn't throw me off or shift me, right? But anyway, I'm laughing at these comments. We'll talk about them later. But I think about what this young lady at the school said to me my first week when I did an assessment. And I thought this baby was so wise beyond her years. She recognized what her wound was, because that's what we're talking about, healing. She recognized what her wound was, and not only recognized it, she recognized how it made her feel. So she said, I used to walk around with headphones in my ears because the noise was just so loud. It was just so loud. But what was happening, she said, it was keeping me from experiencing new things, right? And I translate that is just keeping you from walking in your purpose. It was keeping you from going into maybe what God planned for you, right? Or on a different path. So she said, I realized that I missed out on stuff because she's sensory. So she said there was so much noise, but I wanted to play basketball and I wanted to run track and I wanted to go to dances, but I kept these headphones in my ear that blocked not only the noise out, it blocked me out from experiencing things. So she said, Miss Stephanie, I had to learn sound again. She said, I had to relearn sound again. She said, I had to relearn to listen. She said, I had to try to face it. And she said, I'm much better now. She said, and then I also told myself, I gave myself permission to try something new, because if I never tried new, I would never know how far I had come. In my translation, I would never see how much I had healed. And I said, things you learn from a 13-year-old. I almost gave her a church slap. I was like, wow, get out of here, right?
She talked about several things we discussed, being, growing and being patient with herself, and then always continuing to grow. That self-awareness, it doesn't start without that. And I'm gonna plug the book. I should get paid by this guy, but Dr. Cloud, that Boundaries book, man, if you haven't read that, now I'm reading Boundaries for Marriage right now. And that's a whole nother story because I'm not married, by the way, but that's another story. But Boundaries for Marriage, man, is breaking it down on another level, right? You got to be aware of yourself, because we're supposed to live free, right? Free to love and free to receive, right? And a part of that is understanding what boundaries you need to put up to make sure that you are in control of your own territory and your own property, and letting people take care of their own property, right? Sometimes we can get confused. And so that baby, she said a mouthful for her to figure that out and realize that I need to be more self-aware. And if you remember this song that, Annie used to teach us, one of our TTs, love isn't love till you give it away, right?
Which one? Was it Thelma or Dolly?
Dolly? No, it was both of them.
Probably both of them. Yeah, they probably singing now.
That song, love isn't love till you give it away, like the bridge says, just like a magic penny, hold it tight, you don't have any, right? So you're holding all this stuff in. She had her headphones on. She had a wall up, right? If you spend it, you lend it. Have so many rolling all over the floor. Because if you start to give, you get more, right?
Yes.
If you block yourself off from everybody, nothing bad can get in, but nothing good can get in either.
Yes.
And you can't get out. And
You
so
can't get out. You stuck. What's this? I'm on lock up. Won't let me out. Yeah, you stuck. You on lock up, right? Yeah. Most definitely. Well, y'all, we our time has been well spent, as the good people say. Thank you all so much for joining us. Michael, we are so elated again that you're going to be with us next Saturday on the 12th, dropping nuggets, come out of the cave, healing the wounds. Please, y'all, catch the replay, like, tag, and share. Again, registration is open on eventbrite.com. I've also put that information in the feed on Facebook. And there are some questions that are still in the chat. Michael, maybe you have a chance, you can go back and answer them, and some good comments. I see part 2 of this once we get through the event on next Saturday, because I saw Justin made a comment about us, or about men reaching out to men. And I definitely know this is the season. Again, men, this is for you too. And I say this all the time. These events that I know our organization does is to help the community, to help us properly function and have healthy relationships. But for whatever reason, men don't feel that they need this. But I understand that safe place needs to be created, right? Those safe persons that will present this information and be transparent without judgment, right? And so what does that look like for our men? Because when the men get healthy, it will shift the whole trajectory of our families, our households, and our communities. These conversations are way overdue, right? So Mike, I thank you again for bringing your wisdom. You guys check us out, the Songbird and Me organization. We're on Facebook. Mike, where can they find Basic Studios, what you do?
All the things, right? Yeah. So, I mean, on Facebook, I'm at L. Michael Scott. Instagram, L. Michael Scott HTX. If you want to go with Basic Studios, it is BSH Music. That's on Facebook. And then Family Artistry Academy, I do believe it is, I should know this.
You should know.
I believe it's FAA Houston, if I'm not mistaken. I just Google Family Artistry Academy. And then the artist page is Misco Mente on Facebook and Instagram as well.
You got to say it right. Misco Mente.
Misco Mente.
Yes.
Yeah, MISCOMENTE. Misco Mente, that's my artist page. So you can find me on those spots, right? Or, you know, whenever we find each other again in this virtual space.
Yes, yes, sir. All right, y'all. You guys have a wonderful Friday in those streets. Stay safe. We love you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. We will talk to you soon, and we hope to see you. We are coming out of the cave. Will you? You guys have a good day. Bye.
Oh, and it ended quick, though.